let's talk about feeling and thinking when it comes to the zodiac signs elements, right? This is super general because it totally depends on your natal chart, the placements, the houses, what planets and what house and all that other stuff. So very, very broad, simple explanation though, so just saying. But if you have a lot of fire and water in your chart, you're somebody that feels like no other. Like, you feel, and when you feel, that's what makes sense to you, and you don't even like care to think about anything when you're feeling. You just want to feel that shit, right? And if you have a lot of air and earth in your chart, then you're somebody that likes to think about your feelings. You're somebody that likes to analyze them, intellectualize them. Like, why do I feel like that? And what happened when I started to feel like that and stuff like that, right? And fire and water signs more like, no, like, I don't want to think right now. I'm freaking mad. Or, oh my gosh, I don't want to think. I'm freaking happy. Like, I just want to feel. Like, why would I think about anything right now? So this is where like these signs can like kind of bump heads, and because one sign is like telling the other like, well, why do you feel like that? And the other one's like, dude, like, I don't want to freaking like go there right now. Can you not see that I'm mad? Like, let me be mad first. You know, think about the water, right? Whenever they're, you know, the waters are moving rapidly and stuff, like, there's a lot of movement in the water. Like, they have to wait till the water calms down to even think about a solution or why they felt like that. And by that point, they're not even gonna want to even think about it anymore. They're just like, whatever, I don't feel like that anymore, so I don't even want to talk about it. And to an air and earth sign, it's like, well, I just don't want you to repeat that, or I want you to like learn, you know, what if it's something you need to heal from? It's always like digging deeper in different areas, digging deeper with your emotions and feelings, and digging deeper with your mentalities and ideas and thoughts. Now, where both can get lost, right, because there's a yin and yang to everything, balance. A fire and water sign may feel so much like I don't like to put labels into anything, but to an air and earth sign, fire and water signs can sometimes feel like they're just like all over the place emotionally. Like 1 minute it's kind of like bipolar, but I don't even want to label that. You know, don't get lost into the words I'm using. Now, where both can get lost is fire and water signs, because they don't sometimes rationalize their emotions and feelings. Sometimes they'll like think that the reason why they feel a certain way or whatever is because of this, when it's completely not, when it's because of something entirely different. It could be something more internal, but they may think it's something external, if that makes sense. And but honestly, like, the fire and water signs to me are one of like the ones that have it a lot in their chart, are some of the most realist people you'll ever meet. Like, I feel like they're born without a mask from the beginning, as to where maybe an earth and air sign have to first like kind of think before they act or speak, and they might have created like a mask or something to kind of like know how to maneuver through situations and circumstances, and over time that might have created like this kind of like facade or something. And now like those type of people are learning how to take the mask off, as to where earth and fire signs are more like, well, like, I've always been like this, you know, I've always been like that. It's not the case for everyone, remember, it's just really general. So where you can get lost you can get lost in your emotions, and air and earth signs can get too lost into their mentalities, into their thoughts. So it's like really hard for them to let go of certain things. Like, they you know, of course, you can overthink too much. You can be somebody that like goes to extreme measures to feel safe. You know what I'm saying? You'll like go down this whole rabbit hole of like comfort, you know, especially like if you're somebody that wants to stay more comfortable. So if that means to be vulnerable, if you have to be vulnerable, it's kind of a place where if you don't feel comfortable, you're not really gonna go there, you know. If something doesn't really make sense, if it's not practical, then you're not gonna open up, or you're not gonna like express yourself, or, you know, like, so it's kind of like fire and water signs, when there's an imbalance, they could be too like forward, like, oh shit, like explosion, right? Like fire, like, and air and earth signs can be a little too like back, like a little too like okay, like, you need to relax, you need to just be sometimes, like, stop being so in your head. So, and I feel like for those that have a lot of water and fire in their charts, it's kind of like, it may be hard for you to see why you are a certain way. It may be hard for you to connect the dots and to find the root causes of why you feel certain ways, because again, you are driven by feelings, by emotions. So that's what makes sense to you. And so it may be difficult for you to actually see clearly from all the smoke and all the water, you know, and it's all crazy, the air in your own ways. Or it may be really hard for people that have a lot of this in their chart to actually like take a step back and see that you don't always have to react or respond in this way that is so explosive or so all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And for an air and earth sign, it's like they have a hard time letting go of certain thoughts of why they feel a certain way, you know, and how to just like, okay, just let it go though. Just let it be like water, let it wash away, be like fire, let it just like go up into the smokes, evaporate. And for an air and earth sign, it's more like, you know, they could just be too stuck in the way they think and the way they rationalize certain things, when in reality it's just about like, stop thinking, stop going so deep with your thoughts. All you have to do is just chill, you know, like, and feel. It's okay to feel and not always think about when you feel some type of way. Just allow these emotions to flow, allow these emotions to, you know, express it themselves, you know. So I feel like it's just really interesting. I just really wanted to talk on that for a little bit, because I think it's really interesting how those things work. Again, don't use these like, we're here to transcend these zodiac cons, right? So sometimes to an air and earth sign, it's kind of like when they look at an earth and fire sign, they can come across as kind of like irresponsible or all over the place emotionally, or just like afraid to face themselves kind of way, or to face deeper truths and stuff. And to a fire and water sign, they may look at an earth and air sign as somebody that's more cold, somebody that's more like secretive, somebody that's more like too much in their head, not really always present maybe, or, you know, stuff like that, spacey. They may seem kind of like scatter-minded to them. So really interesting stuff to kind of pinpoint. So if you're a water and fire sign, you know, try to kind of like take a step back before you do express yourself, because it's not always what you feel, you know. It's not always there's always a reason behind why you feel certain ways. It's not always what you think, but you won't know that because you don't think about it usually. And, you know, and earth and air sign is trying to tell them like, you know, there is a way to like resolve this, you know. And if you're open to that, like, we can literally like shift the way you feel and the way you know, may feel emotionally with going deeper with those emotions and feelings mentally, with knowing how to let them go mentally as well, you know. And then to a water and fire sign, and earth and air sign can seem kind of and so my air and earth signs, you know, learn to not be so in your head. And I have a lot of earth in my chart and water, but yeah. So into my earth and air signs, try not to be so much in your head. Try to really learn how to express yourself more, and not hide or overthink that you have to think a certain way before you respond or react all the time. I mean, it's always good to take a pause, whichever sign you are, you know, not to just immediately react to things, but still, like, you know, you guys may hold back a little too much, you know. And so people want to really get to know the real you, and people want to really get to know how you truly feel about things, not what you think about how you feel, but how you truly feel. And that makes you a more genuine, open, expressive person, and that's also very beautiful. So again, do your best to not be so stuck with trying to overanalyze and overthink everything, or try to practicalize everything you feel and all of that stuff. So you can actually enjoy your emotions, embrace your emotions, and embrace what it is to feel, and for people to know how you feel, because again, that just opens up a lot of opportunities, to connect, a lot of opportunities to go deeper together, you know, like with people. And yeah, so it's super cool, super interesting stuff.